Reddit. What was the worst thing you did as a horny teen? NSFW. When I was in 6th grade. Before everyone had a digital camera. I had a 7th grader scan her pussy and send it to me. This is the most absurd and hilarious thing I've read in at least a week. Masturbated while tubing down a river. My family was 200 yards behind me. They stayed back on purpose. They knew, dude. They knew. They always know. My mother was brave enough to ask me why the large container of Vaseline looked like somebody reached in and took a handful of the realized immediately after she asked that question that she did not want an answer. I was told to find something better to do with my time. Till masturbating is a hobby. I masturbated on an airplane. That was cool, I guess. Hijacking. There, I said it. Was really young. Right before I really learned how to properly FAP. But still exploring sexual stuff. I would do things like hump my pillow or carve a hole into a Nerf ball for my wang. All that was well and good until I tied my dick to my chair and then proceeded to trip over a stuffed animal. Almost ripping my dick off. I still have the scars. Oh, the humanity. I tied my dick to my chair. I want this to be explained more. How was this supposed to go? Got an in-house suspension. Which is when you have to sit in a room all day at school rather than stay at home. The room I had to stay in was attached directly to the vice principal's office. It had nothing in it except for a table and a chair. I was supposed to be doing homework all day. After a few hours of doing nothing and no one checking in on me, I beat the speep out of my dick. Came on the carpet. I had a friend in elementary school that had this. They checked on him. Like clockwork. Every 2 hours. He found out from another student that is how it worked. So the first 2 hours he did the piddly homework sheets he had was in 5th grade, and then after the first check, he locked the door. Set his watch to go off 5 minutes before the next check. And took a nap. He woke up each time 5 minutes before and unlocked the door and sat in front of his already done homework when they checked on him. Slept most of the day away. Being in 6th grade, he was a grade below me, and being his friend, I thought it was pretty cool. Though I never tested the theory myself. I got 1 day in school suspension when I was in grade 4 or 5. I took a book I had read before. Lay down on the couch. Opened it to a random page. And put it on my chest. Then I fell asleep. When they came to check on me, I would wake up before they opened the door and quickly grab the book and start reading. When they left, I skipped forward a few pages and fell back asleep. One time I didn't wake up until they already saw me sleeping. And they started yelling at me for sleeping. So I told them I wasn't sleeping. I was just trying to visualize what I'd just read. Couch. Casually reading your own book? What kind of in-school suspension was this? I once tried masturbating with a Neapolitan ice cream bar. Not sure why I thought it would help. But I did it anyways. Yeah. Neapolitan is a classic amateur mistake. Chocolate is too sticky. And has a low melting point. Start with vanilla. And work your way up from there. Find what works for you. When I was 12. I used anything I could get my hands on to masturbate. Pens. Hairbrush handles. And, most memorably, marbles. I would just let them roll around. I was a weird kid. Undefined. Hey honey. You ever notice sometimes Jessica sounds like a can of spray paint when she comes down the stairs? Received a BJ from my best friend's sister while he slept on an adjacent couch. I stayed over at their house a lot after the first time. I jerked off on a plane. It had internet on it. But they blocked all the porn sites. But they didn't block Facebook. Rookie mistake. American FBING Airlines fingered my GF while parents were in the room. I'll bet they could smell something was up. Why's it smell like pussy in here all of a sudden, honey? I don't know. Why don't we ask the kids? Just picturing the look on the dad's face when he says this is hilarious. There was this girl I had a crush on when I was 13 or 14 that I sat beside in class. She had this habit of biting on her pen. I remember we were joking one day about how gross it was that she bites on her pen because she bit a hole in it and you could see her spit starting to collect in the tube of the pen. About an hour after that I grabbed the pen from her desk, took it to the bathroom, emptied all the saliva from it onto my dick and jerked off using her spit as lube. After I returned the pen to her desk. That is literally the most beeped up thing I ever did sexually. I remember I felt guilty about it for days, having went to Catholic school. You didn't fill the crevice back up with your jizz? Get your speep together, man. Put ice cubes in my butts for fun. You have more than one? Well, we had 2 dicks, guy. So I guess it was only a matter of time. If they were both homosexual, they would have one hell of a time. 2 dick guy is bisexual. Don't give up yet. If I've taken a number 2 at your house or business, I was probably fapping one out. I swear I had a permanent erection in my teens. Reposting my comment from a similar thread about a year ago. I was about 13. I was out fishing in the great outdoors. Swimming through the water and fishing in one of these things, so I'm partially under the water. I'd been out there for a while. And I got the urge. Odd. Since there's nothing boner-inducing about fishing. Perhaps it was a boredom boner since I wasn't getting any bites. Long story short, I jerked it. I came into the water and the current began to take it. It was no more than 5 or so feet away from me when a fish came up and ate it. I turned a rainbow trout into a cum-guzzling fish whore. Undefined. Protein is protein. Right? Gains are gains. Used a plastic sandwich bag as a condom. I once heard a story about 2 people using a Lay's chip bag as a condom. Needless to say, the girl needed medical attention afterwards. Family size or snack size? I jerked off 5 minutes before class and ended up being late because I always bask for 10 minutes. I'm laughing so hard at the word bask right now. One summer, back in the glory days of teeming teenager sexuality, me and a few friends made a fake vagina of sorts. We took a solo cup and stuffed it with paper towels until a nice, cushy tunnel was formed. We then took a plastic sandwich bag and lined the paper towel tunnel. We headed on down to my friend's camper in the woods and each took a turn beeping it, swapping the bag for a clean one after each use. Where things really took a turn was when we ran out of lotion to lubricate our franken pussy with and used shampoo instead. Dick dried out so bad I got an open sore. And being 13, I couldn't keep my hands off myself to let it properly heal for a good 6 to 8 months. Undefined. I tried to beep my couch when I was 13. Not even a throwaway, I have no shame. Oh man. I would have definitely thrown away a couch full of semen. Undefined. Until I read your reply. Though it was coach. Context changed completely. I used to ride my bike quite a lot when I was a teenager. One day, I got this idea to ride my bike to my grandmother's house. It's about 8 miles. Round trip. So I ride my bike out there. And sure as speep, they're not home. There's a huge hill probably a quarter of a mile long. And on the way down this hill I rode with no hands. And then it struck me. I shoved my hand in my pocket. And beat my speep until I came. Riding a bike no-handed. Down a fairly steep hill. I think about this quite often. And I'm so glad I didn't fall off my bike. I ain't even mad. That's impressive as feep. Masturbated on a coach whilst everyone around me was asleep. I found out last year the girl who sat next to me wasn't. Two guys on a coach trip to Legoland just threw jumpers over their laps and went at it. Aggressively. Everyone was awake. Sunny day. No worries. Jesus. I had a sleeping bag. So I was a little less obvious. I found my mom's vibrator. And I was horny. So I turned it on and put it against my dick and rubbed up and down until I came. Only until my post-cum consciousness kicked in did I realize the horror. Yeah. You should have gone with prostate massaging. And that was how the rectal _problems started. Took some racy shots of my boobs to send to a complete stranger. Unfortunately, despite thinking I had deleted them from family computer, they still ended up being viewable by my parents, who saw them. So embarrassing. Poured shampoo all over my dick when I was laying in the bath. Got some in the pee hole. Days of endless sharp jabs of agony. I made this mistake once. Just once. I figured, hey, this ought to feel pretty good. Finished. Then went to take a leak. As my urine traveled out my urethra, I saw the faces of myriad gods weeping in the cosmos for me. It was so excruciatingly painful that I pulled my boxers up, ran to the living room and said, I need to go to the hospital now. Mom asked, why? What did you do? I was so worried I'd broken my new pull toy that I didn't even hesitate. I was playing with myself and I got shampoo in my penis and I can't get it out. It burns like lava. Please let's go. Mom started laughing. In this moment where reality was singing me the song of doom and damnation, she laughed. Oh. It'll come out. Go drink some water. Your big sister did that too. The next day Mom had left a tube of KY for me on my bedroom TV and a note that said, don't waste shampoo on your Johnson. Oh. And of course, being my mother now, everybody I ever have come in contact with that she also knows gets to hear about it. Undefined. Your mom got you KY? She is the most awesome person I have ever heard of. My mom just threw speep at me when she caught me jacking in the shower. Is she a monkey? I masturbated with toothpaste. Don't ever masturbate with toothpaste. Luckily I was in the shower, so I was able to rinse it off immediately when the pain started. But at first it was a surprisingly nice lube. It burned for about an hour later. I've heard horror stories of friends that used icy/hot. Toothpaste is the worst. I did it twice. Gotta give the toothpaste a second chance at. When I was 12. I was home alone and extremely horny. When masturbation wasn't enough, I walked around the house. Naked. With a boner. I was looking for somewhere to put it in. After some searching, I saw my bicycle. I laid it down on the floor and pile-drived my penis into the peg. I only got 2 pumps in before I realized how terrible of an idea this was. I proceeded to feel disgusted with myself for the rest of the summer. Bro. You've peeped a bike? You could say he gave it a ride. Lost my virginity in the gym bathroom during lunch. How is good old Coach McGillicuddy? I had a really soft and fluffy blanket on my bed. I would get naked and lay on it because it was so soft. Then I started moving around and found out how great it felt on my dick. I would eventually start to come on that blanket. A lot. Several times a night. No cleanup. I just left it. My mom mentioned how dirty it was when she washed it one time. Undefined. She knew. That was probably her subtle way of saying stop jizzing on the blanket, it's gross. I jacked off in class with a jacket over my dick. They knew. They definitely knew. It was more obvious by the fact he was stood at the front teaching at the time. Undefined. Stuck a plunger in my butt. And called it FAPA Ronnie. Posted this. Was it more fun than a pillow fight? Blow it up. Put your dick inside. Get ready to have the time of your life. You know those guys on Omegle? I was one of those guys. I'm still one of those girls. IBBYU want some fuck? I'd be wary of hooking up with anyone who calls themselves Lorena Bobbitt. In 8th grade, I saw a girl's boob touch the edge of her desk, not like naked boob or anything, but like fully clothed boob. When nobody was in the room, I went over and licked the desk. I'm not proud of this. Been there. Done that. Dude. I've got a killer. Masturbated while sharing a bed with my mother in a hotel we got stuck in on a speepty road trip. I was trying to be super quiet. Didn't make a sound. But couldn't stop my legs from twitching now and then. I thought I got away with it. Until just after I came. When she rolled over. Threw her hand up over her face. And started laughing hysterically. I was so embarrassed that I ran in the bathroom and threw up and then slept on the floor. She laughed at me the entire rest of the trip. What the beep was wrong with me? I still want to throw up when I think about it. She says it's her fault for never teaching me anything about sex / the human body / puberty at any point in my life. But downloaded porn on my neighbor's DSL Wi-Fi back in the days when I had 56k. No regrets. My parents were worried I had sleep apnea. They scheduled a sleep study for me. They hooked me up to all these sensors and told me not to roll over too much. The nurse administering the sleep study was really peeping hot, and I could see her through the glass in the other room while I was supposed to be sleeping. She was talking to another nurse and they were laughing and joking. I couldn't hear them, but oh my god, she was unbelievable to look at. So I rubbed one out. Had no idea they could tell by reading data from those sensors. Them explaining the readings to my parents was really awkward. Sleep apnea. Had sex with my then GF in the elevator of my high school. Since I'm wheelchair bound, I took her on the elevator with me a couple of times. One day we just decided to push the emergency stop button. Good thing the alarm was not working at the time. Wheelie. She joked. Yes. Really? Just roll with it? She pushed my chair into the elevator. It was the first tight fit of the hour. Going down? I winked. She laughed and pressed the button for the ground floor. After a few seconds she reached for the stop button. This was it. The elevator grinded quickly to a halt. No alarm. We were dead in the water. And rigor mortis was definitely setting in. She jumped on top of me, biting and kissing. The confined space giving us a false sense of intimacy. There were no words exchanged for the next 10 minutes as we traded pleasure like two angry spice salesmen haggling. each of us sure we were giving the better offer and refusing to back down. Finally, we were spent. She straightened her hair, closed her shirt over and smiled at me. Was it good for you? The elevator started up again with a quick push of a button. So good I can't even feel my legs. So good I can't feel my legs. You are my beeping hero. I used to steal panties. Every chance I had to sneak off to some girl's room and grab a quick thong. I hopped on that speep. I plundered the drawers of middle school girlfriends, daughters of family friends, and friends' sisters. I still see some of those people, and I'll think about how close I sometimes came to being caught. Me, heterosexual male, and couple of my friends went out one snowy night at age 13 and made a snowman with a huge penis. We all sucked his snow penis for about 10 minutes. We all got horribly sick and had to stay home from school for a week. I can't really say if sucking this huge snow penis covered with my friend's saliva is my thing or not. Better take my sweet time to figure it out. My ex. Har 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 har. But I biked 8 miles a day for a whole summer to have sex. And stuck my dick in ice. Jesus. Your legs and ass must have been like steel. It was the fittest I ever was. And was my peak up until about this year. The best part? It was a steep uphill and downhill trek. Which means whether I was coming or going, I was hitting a huge hill. I see what you did there.